I'm authorizing CSETI to use this video in any constructive manner that they see fit. I started flying back in 1966. Was mostly a civilian instructor for a number of years, flight examiner for a number of years. Then back in 1978, I got hired by a major air carrier. Have flown quite a number of different aircrafts. I've flown light aircraft and as well as heavies. Cessna 150s, have a type rating in DC-3, Boeing 737, Boeing 757, Boeing 767, Boeing 747-400. I'm presently a captain for a major air carrier in the Boeing 747 fleet. The total flight time to this date is around 19,000 hours.
It's just a little bit here. We're getting a little glare on the side of your face. See if I can cut that back just a little.
Okay. How's that?
That makes it a little more even. Good. Go.
Okay. Want me to repeat or?
No, they'll just edit from there.
Okay, good. Want to ask any questions or?
Just start in with your experiences, I guess.
Okay. My first unusual experience was around the latter part of the 1980s. I would have guesstimated around 1986, 1987. At that time, on a flight from Los Angeles to Denver, it was early in the morning. It was Cilian visibility unlimited, flight level 33,000. We sighted a craft that was rather unusual in its behavior. It looked like a cylinder, high brilliance. It wasn't a 727, the type of equipment I spent 10 years in. The 727 is manned by three crewmen, a captain, first officer, and a flight engineer. At the time, it was once again early in the morning. It was a nice clear day. I happened to look outside the window about our 2 o'clock position, and I sighted this highly brilliant cylinder-shaped aircraft. I could not discern any wings. At the distance was our 2 o'clock position, estimated 2 to 3 miles. What really caught my eye was the unusual behavior, flight characteristics of this particular craft. It was a cylindrical shape, like I'm showing here, positioned at our 2 o'clock, and I looked at this craft and it did something like this. It had a vertical movement up and down as it had experienced some heavy turbulence. At that time I became concerned, and I told my other crew members, I said, look at this other aircraft out here, and it seems like they are experiencing a lot of turbulence. I was concerned for the safety of our passengers. When it repeated again, after being very stable, it did this again, this sort of a maneuver, and it was very confounding. I mean, I'd never seen anything like this up in the air with all my time flying. So everybody was looking at this aircraft at this time, and we called Air Route Traffic Center, and we said, asked them, do you have any turbulence reported this morning? And the gentleman, the controller, said, negative, we don't. So far this morning, all levels have been reported smooth, no problems. And there we go again once. So we asked him, well, how about we have an aircraft at our 2 o'clock position, and it seems like it is experiencing quite a bit of turbulence. So the controller came back and told us, well, once again, there's been no turbulence reported this morning, as well as the fact that there is no aircraft at your 2 o'clock. We don't have a radar return. Furthermore, we don't have anything scheduled or flight plan for that route, that altitude, and that position at this time. So that's when it really made an impact. And what we did is we kept an eye on this cylinder out here. Now, one of the things that was quite peculiar, we have a major carrier that does not paint their aircraft. They just buff it with wax, and it looks very sharply bright in a clear day. However, for that to occur, the sun being in a fixed position relative to this traffic, and this traffic being lit up all the time, even though it went up and down, that's when I said, there is something unusual about this, because this cylinder was luminous at all times. Then the next strange situation we encountered was when we were given a change of frequency. I was the non-flying pilot, therefore it was my area of duty was to handle the radio. So I looked down and I tuned a different frequency, and when I looked up, it was gone. And I asked the other fellows, "Do you see it leave?" No, nobody saw it disappear. Nobody saw where it went, what happened. Nobody saw anything. And that was very unusual. The second time where I had another unusual experience was when I went camping with my daughter with a group of about 30 persons up in the Northern California area. And we were in this campground. It was at night. There was lack of clouds, good visibility. You could see the stars. It was a perfect night. And I came out of my tent. We were camped for about 3 days there. And somebody said to me, "Did you see our neighbor?" And I said, "Our neighbor? What are you talking about?" It says, "Look over here." And I noticed that some of the people were looking at this aircraft, and it was approximately a quarter to a half a mile. It was sitting, just hovering behind this tree that had no leaves. And this time the aircraft was different in its description. It was more like a sphere. It was amber color, very luminous, and the feeling that was pervasive to the entire area was one of total and complete stillness. There was no sound whatsoever. You couldn't hear crickets. You couldn't hear anything except just a few people that were talking. It was just soundless, totally and completely. So my daughter and I looked at this thing, and we were in awe just to watch this. It was totally, perfectly still, just luminous. I mean, it was very different. The effect that this particular experience had on me, the most impact-creating situation that we found was that when we were looking at it, this sphere actually split in two. So it was like this, became two, and stayed there for a while, and then it came back together, and it became one. And it sat there for a good 30-45 minutes, and it moved slowly around, and then it would back and forth, but there was hardly any wind or anything that we could account the movement for, and it was quite a large craft. I would say that it was smaller than a ping pong ball. If you look at it from if you compare it to the end of your thumb, and that was very nice, very good experience actually.
Okay. Do you remember the name of the campground or the city it was nearest? Or?
This was some land that somebody owns that is private, that they turned it into a campground. It's right near to a river and is very close to Redding, California.
Okay.
Right.
Do you remember the date on that? Did you say that?
No, I do not remember. I remember my daughter was 14 years old. She was born in 81, so it would be around 95 then. Yeah.
Okay.
1995. So that's about it.
Great. Thank you.